it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another Battle of the Debuts, the viewers' picks. So some of these are not technically debuts, it's just viewers picking their own battles. And this one has been chosen by Richard McCook, known for one of my sidekicks. A lot of shows together now. We enjoy doing them, but he wanted me to put Graham Parker up against Elvis Costello, and this is actually some debut albums. Two very good artists from the new wave era, the early 80s, and I said, yeah, this will be a good one, so here we go. So first up today will be Graham Parker. Now, if you don't know much about Graham Parker, he's an English singer-songwriter, best known as the lead singer in the British band Graham Parker and the Rumour. Now, he was born in 1950. He's been making music ever since, been making lots of music. He started music, and with his friends as a teenager, went on to make lots of music. Now, the debut album that we're going to look at is Howlin Wind, which he did with his band The Rumour, and it was released in 1976. God, a long time ago. And on here, of course, it's Graham Parker vocals, acoustic guitar, Fender rhythm guitar, and the Rumour, the band, his backing band, is Brinsley Schwartz on guitar, Hammond organ, and backing vocals. Bob Andrews, Lowry organ, Hammond organ, piano, and backing vocals. Martin Belmont on guitar and backing vocals. Steve Goulding on the drums, backing vocals. Andrew Bonnar on Fender bass. And the brass section is Stuart Linus, Herschel Holder, Dave Connors, Brinsley Schwartz, Danny Ellis, John Earl, and we've got some extra. Paul Bailey does some guitars on, and Dave Otway, Paul Riley, Noel Brown, Dave Edmonds plays guitar on one track, and Ed Dean does some slide guitar. So the first track on this album is called White Honey, and I do love this. It's a great track. It's actually one of my favourite tracks by Graham Parker. I just love its beat and everything. There's just something really good about it. And Nothing's Gonna Pull Us Apart. Another great track. It's just the arrangement. It's just a great song. It's just a really good song. Silly Thing. I love the horns in this. I just love horn music. I think it works in rock and roll, and I think that's a great track as well. Gypsy Blood comes next, and I like these tracks. There's lots of acoustic guitar in this. It's got some lovely keyboards in this. It's a terrific track. Between You and Me comes not. It's a really good track. It does lack a little bit of depth in places, but it's still a good, solid track to listen to. Back to the Schooldays, my favourite track off this album. It's quirky. It's got that country rock feel to it, and it's got a bit of that Clearwater Revival feel to it as well, that sort of vibe. So that's a really good track. Soul Shoes reminds me of some of the great Rolling Stone starts of their songs. I love the drumming in this. It's terrific. Lady Doctor, a very soulful song here. It's in that Georgie Fame sort of vein as well. I like this. You've Got to Be Kidding. Now, you can see where our next artist we'll be talking about, Elvis Costello, got his sort of vibe from, because that's in that same sort of vein. I love this track. It's just terrific. It's just got it's a sound of the times. Then we get the title track, Howlin when the keyboard runs dominate this in the background, it really gives it some depth and texture. I do like the guitar textures on this as well, and it's a great vocal from Graham. I do like that track. Not If It Pleases Me comes next. Very gentle sort of 50s sort of song. I like this. Again, this is a really strong track. Don't Ask Me Questions is the last track. It's a different sort of elements. There's a little bit of reggae beat going on there, and it's quirky, and I do enjoy it. What do I think of this album? I do like this album. I've always liked this album. There is not really a bad song on this. It's got that little bit of heavy rock and roll, a bit of reggae in there, a bit of poppy. I do enjoy listening to this, and I haven't listened to this for a little while, so when I listened to it again, I really enjoyed listening to it, and I'm going back to listen to more of Graham Parker. So you know that at some stage we'll be doing a full ranking of these albums. So what did the old critics think of this album? Now, Terry Morris for Rolling Stone praised the Rumour's raw efficiency and the directionless of playing and arranging, while concluding that the album was primarily succeeds due to Parker's skills as a songwriter and arranger. Howlin Wind finished 4th in the Village Voices 1976 Paz and Jap's Critics Poll of the Year Best Albums, following Parker's later released Heat Treatment in the second spot. Unfortunately, though, it didn't chart, which I never really understood, because it is a really good album. You know, if you like this sort of music, it's one of those albums that you know about. So let's look at the critics thing. All Music gave it a 5 stars. Chris Gale's Record Guide gave it an A, which I'm amazed that this guy actually likes something I like. Encyclopedia Popular Music gave it 4 out of 5. The Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it a 4 out of 5. Spin Alternative Record gave it a 9 out of 10. And Uncut gave it a 4 out of 5. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. So song quality. I've always thought Graham Parker writes great songs. He's a great songwriter. Very underrated. He should have more praise than he does. So I definitely like these songs on here, and I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Production. Solid album. This is 1970s. Very crisp, very clear, very raw. I mean, the Rumour, they grew up good musicians, and it sounds great. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Reception. The critics liked it. You know, they give us some they really like this, but unfortunately it didn't chart. It got into the album charts, so I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Cover design. Just a picture of Graham on the front. I mean, at least you know who it is. There's nothing wrong with that, so I shall give that a 4 out of 5. So for Howlin Wind by Graham Parker and the Rumour, gives us a total of 15 out of 20. So let's move on to the next contender. In this case is Declan Patrick McManus, OBE. He's born on the same day as my younger brother, but not the same year. 25th of August 1954, but we all know him as Elvis Costello. He's won multi-awards in his career, 2 Grammys, Brit Award nomination, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just a great songwriter and performer. and he's on Rolling Stone's. No, it's number 80 on its list of 100 greatest artists of all time. So Elvis Costello's debut album, which is this one, My Aim Is True, and it came out in 1977, and it was produced through Stiff Records, produced at Stiff Artists and Music. Nick Lowe, who I know is one of Richard's favourite artists as well. So who plays on this album? Of course we've got Elvis Costello on vocals, guitar, piano, drumsticks on the Mystery Dance. Hey. John McPhee plays lead guitar, pedal, steel guitar and backing vocals. Sean Hopper, piano, organ and backing vocals. Johnny Ciambotti on bass and backing vocals. Mickey Shine plays the drums. Stan Shaw plays the organ on Less Than Zero. And Nick Lowe, well, he does some backing vocals, pianos, and he plays drumsticks on Mystery and Dance. We've got the technical side of it was, of course, the producer was Nick Lowe. And before we start, Watching on the Detectives was not on the UK release. Okay, so Watching the Detectives doesn't get a mention, but I will mention it now. It is a good track. First track on here is Welcome to the Working Week. It's only a short track, but it's just got that great sound that Elvis Costello and his great vocal. I like that. It's a really good track, even though it's only 1 minute and 22 seconds long. Miracle Man, love this. I do love the drumming from Mickey Shine on this. It's very raw. Plug in 1, 2, 3, go, and let's do 3 minutes and 31 seconds of a great song. Then we get No Dancing. Again, the drumming on this album is terrific, and I do like that track. It's a great vocal from Elvis. He's got a very distinctive voice. Then we get Blame It on the Cain. I love this. It's got this bluesy feel to it, and some lovely tones on the guitars on this. A really strong track. Then we get Alison. The guitar work on this is crisp, clean. There's no distortion or anything. It's just really strong track. Sneaky Feelings. Very quirky little track this is. It's 2 minutes long, but it's still fantastic. Then we get The Angels Wanna Hear Me. Hang on, start again, Ian. The Angels Wanna Wear My Red Shoes. Solid track. These are the short, sharp, punchy, new wave style tracks. You don't need long ones on this. It's just great little short tracks. Then we get my favourite track on here. Again, it's one of my favourite songs by Elvis Costello, and it's called Less Than Zero. It's got I love the guitars in this. It's got that 60s vibe to it as well. I just love this. Then we get this Mystery Dance. Great little rock and roll number. And it's lovely to hear the drumsticks. All these drumsticks done by Nick Lowe and Elvis Costello. It's quite a little fun track. Yeah, then we get Pay It Back. Another very rock and rolly track. It's a great vocal from Elvis Costello. I really like that punchy sort of rock and roll. I'm Not Angry. Another good track. There are so many good tracks on this album, and this is a fine example. The production on this is terrific. And the last track on this one is called Waiting for the End of the World. Killer guitar riffs in it. Great track to end this great album. The drum and bass on this is terrific. Really drives the song along. Really strong track to end this album. I've really always liked this. What I love about this album is the pure rawness of it. I love albums that you don't need to do too much. I mean, Nick Lowe is a great producer. He knows exactly what he is. He's a fine performer in his own rights. And I think this is a great example of Nick's work, you know, and Elvis Costello, of course, is just an absolute legend. And I've got a lot of time for this. And again, I hadn't heard it for a little while, so putting this on was an absolute pleasure. It just rejuvenated my passion for Elvis Costello records. That's what I think of it. Let's see what the old critics received rave reviews from the British and American music journalists on release. Writing for Trouser Press, Shups hailed My Aim Is True as 1977's most auspicious debut album, praising Costello's musicianship, songwriting, and concluding he has produced a classic at his first try. Absolutely right. Chaz DeWally of Sounds magazine called Costello a songwriter of rare sensitivity and talent, but had a trouble getting to grip with the songs. Melody Maker Jones found that hell you can dance to it, swoon and romance with it, smooch and romance from it. So there we go. He also noticed that the record contained potential hit singles to stock a jukebox. So there we go. So let's have a look at the critics. They said the Philadelphia Inquirer gave it 3 stars, Record Mirror 4, and Sounds gave it a 5 out of 5. This actually did chart in the UK, and it got to number 14 in the UK album chart. Okay then, let's look at some of the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. Again, I think Elvis Costello or Declan McManus writes great songs. The thing with with Elvis Costello, he doesn't just write for himself. He has wrote many a hit for many artists as well. The quality of the songs on here, as I say, you can smooch to it, you can dance to it. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Production. The production on this is terrific. It's punchy, it's raw, it's got that live feel to it. Although it's not a live album, it's got that quality to it. It also reminds me, you know, these with these live, especially the BBC when they do the in sessions, it's got that sort of feel to it. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. I don't very really do production at 5 out of 5, but production on it is wonderful. Reception went down well with the critics. Top 20 album on your debut is not a bad effort, especially in that sort of 76, 77 time when disco was more prominent and the punk was sort of coming through as well. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Cover design. Now there are 2 covers of this. There's the original grey one, and there's this yellow one. I prefer the yellow one with the yellow background to the grey one, because it's a little bit drab and you can't see much in it, and so I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. So that gives us, for Elvis Costello and My Aim Is True, a grand total of 16 out of 20. Okay, today it goes with Elvis Costello, but it is a tough one for me because I like both albums. Both have got some high merits. Songwriting, the production, the playing, it's all terrific. I just think that I don't know why it didn't chart Graham Parker's Howlin Wind, because it's a great album. But having listened to these albums quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to give this to Elvis Costello. One of the reasons is I think the production is amazing. Nick Lowe did a great job on this, and there are so many good songs on here, and I enjoy listening to it. It is so raw. So there we go. A win for me for Elvis Costello today. But as ever, as most weeks come, you all disagree with me, which is the fun bit of this. So you know the drill now. You can vote for it on the community, which goes up around 2 o'clock time in the community on YouTube. It'll be in the poll tonight on the live stream, or just put your favourite in the comments below. Now I know Richard has already put his album in for the Battle Royale, but if you want to put this in, get it in. You know what to do. You watch the video, or just go to the video with that thumbnail and put your entry in the comments below. You've got till midnight on the 17th of September, so there's plenty of time to get your entries in. So that's all for this one. We got one more viewers pick next week, and it's an absolute killer, which I'm looking forward to. I'll be back later with picks and mix. This week we had in the camera's view, and we're going to look at the DV that Ultravox put out called Return to Eden. So I will see you for that later. Bye for now.